Hello, and welcome to Beautifully Unfinished. I'm Lucy, and if you're joining me for the first time, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you very much. This podcast is for anyone navigating midlife. Those seasons where life hasn't turned out quite the way we imagined, where we're learning that life isn't about having all the answers, but rather about continuing to grow, to heal, and discover who we're becoming. Because none of us are finished yet. We're beautifully unfinished. Last week, I spoke about concrete beneath our feet, the importance of having a solid foundation in life. I talked about how anything worth building begins with strong foundations. Today, I brought something along with me. It's a brick. Because once the foundation has been laid, every home, every school, every hospital, every church, every building begins the same way, with one brick. Nobody stands back, looks at a house after the first brick has been laid and says, it doesn't look like much. It certainly doesn't look like a home. But without that first brick, there isn't a second one. And without the second, there isn't a third. Eventually, almost without noticing it, walls start to appear. Then the rooms, then the roof. Then one day, somebody walks through the door and calls it a home. I think our lives are built in exactly the same way. Not through one dramatic decision, but one choice, one conversation, one act of courage, one tiny step, one ordinary day at a time. So today I'd like to ask you a question. What are you building? Because having a good foundation, that's the beginning. The real question is, are you building a life you actually enjoy living? I came across a quote quite recently and it said, build a life you don't need a holiday from. I haven't stopped thinking about that when I was trying to work out today's podcast. Now, don't get me wrong, I love holidays. We all need rest, we all need time to recharge. But what struck me the most was this. We become so busy surviving our lives that we're constantly trying to escape them. How many Mondays do we spend wishing how many sleeps till Friday? How many months do we spend counting down till our next holiday? How many years do we spend saying, things will be better when I retire, when I've lost weight, when I've got more money, when the children have left home and I'm not having to pay school fees, when I found the right person, when life calms down? The trouble is, life isn't being lived. Life isn't lived in the when. It's lived in today, in the present. I think so many of us have spent decades building lives around everyone else. We've raised children. We've supported husbands and wives. We've built careers. We've cared for aging parents. We've cared for unwell loved ones. We've kept homes running. We've kept everything going. We've remembered birthdays with the help of Facebook reminders and missed many, but have remembered a few. We've held families together as best we could. And somewhere along the way, without even noticing it, we stopped asking ourselves one very important question. Am I actually enjoying this life that I'm living? Not every moment, of course. There are the frustrations of traffic, banking systems, idiots on the road, unnecessary queues, and in short, life will always have challenges. But overall, does my life feel like mine? I know for me, the past few years have been completely changed what I thought success looked like. If I'm honest, there was a time when I fell into the trap of survival. And perhaps I'm still in it a little bit. From the outside, everything looked okay. I went to work, I paid bills, kept smiling, kept carrying on. I looked like I had it together most of the time. But looking back, I realized I'd become very good at appearing to live, while I was actually just surviving. There are seasons when survival is enough. Sometimes it's all we can do, but survival wasn't meant to become a permanent address. Sometimes we have to survive after heartbreak, after loss, after divorce, after illness, after grief, after disappointment. Survival keeps us going until we're strong enough to take the next step. But there comes a moment when we have to gently ask ourselves, am I surviving or have I started living again? I think many of us do that. We become so busy getting through every day that we stop asking ourselves whether we're actually enjoying our lives. There was a time when I thought success was a bit about appearances. It was looking like you had it all together. It was being busy, being productive, being everything to everyone, keeping everyone happy. But somewhere along the way, I realized that that isn't success at all. Now, success looks very different. Success now to me is peace. It's waking up and not feeling like you simply getting through another day. Success is laughing more than crying. Success is having relationships that you can completely be yourself. It's waking up looking forward to the ordinary days. It's going to bed with a grateful heart. Success is waking up in the arms of the one you love. It's the kind of life I want to build. Not the perfect life, just a peaceful one. And the wonderful thing is, lives aren't built in giant leaps. They're built in tiny, tiny choices. One walk, one healthy meal, one difficult decision, one act of forgiveness, one chapter of a book, one podcast episode, one phone call, one prayer, one moment of choosing peace over drama. It's a bit like building a house. Nobody arrives one morning and discovers a beautiful home that appeared overnight. It's built brick by brick, day by day, and so is a beautiful life. I also think we spend far too much time comparing our lives to others. Social media has convinced us that everyone else has it all figured out. They have the perfect home, the perfect marriages, the perfect holidays, the perfect bodies, the perfect lives. But we're comparing our ordinary Thursday morning to someone else's highlight reel. Comparison just steals contentment, and contentment is one of the greatest gifts we can ever receive. There will always be difficult seasons. Being beautifully unfinished doesn't mean life suddenly becomes easy. There will still be grief, disappointment, illness, loss, unexpected and unwanted detours. But here's something I've learned. Joy doesn't have to wait until life is perfect. Sometimes joy is found in the smallest moments. It's the morning cup of tea with the teaspoon of honey, with a hello angel, did you sleep well? A walk with the dog, the sound of grandchildren laughing or calling your name, it just melts your heart. A glorious sunset, a warm, comforting hug, a quiet conversation with someone you love. Those moments are life, not the holidays, not the milestones. It's the ordinary Thursdays or Tuesdays or Mondays. As I've grown older, I've realized I actually want less rushing. I haven't quite mastered this. I'm forever learning and trying how to figure this one out. Less drama, less proving, less pretending, more peace, more love, more laughter, more joy, more contentment, more meaningful conversations, more people who feel like home. Maybe that's one of the greatest gifts of getting older. We finally start recognizing what really matters. It's the small things. I want to leave you with a quote that I read this morning and completely fell in love with. It says, "No matter how old you are, you will always regret having not started sooner." Remember, today is the youngest you're ever going to be again. So start today. Isn't that beautiful? How often do we tell ourselves it's too late? Too late to get healthy. Too late to write that book. Too late to start the business or the podcast. Too late to travel. Too late to leave the job. Too late to fall in love. Too late to become the person we've always wanted to be. But tomorrow, you're going to be one day older. A year from now, you probably wish you started today. We can't go back. We can't change yesterday, but today is waiting for us. Start with one small thing, one brick, even if it's a tiny one, because that's how beautiful lives are built. There's one more thought I'd like to leave with you. It's something I was sent actually this morning. Something so beautiful that I wanted to be reminded of, that each day has already been prepared for us. Whether you believe that the Lord has lovingly gone before you and prepared the day ahead, or whether you believe that the universe has unfolded exactly as it should, I think it's a beautiful way to begin each morning. Instead of waking up wondering what might go wrong, what if we woke up wondering, I wonder what today has in store for me? Perhaps today holds a conversation that changes your life. Perhaps today holds healing. Perhaps it holds some answers for you. Perhaps today holds laughter or courage. Perhaps it holds peace. Whatever it looks like for you, it never existed before and it never will again. Today is a gift. So don't rush through it wishing it away. Step into it fully. Because this ordinary day may quietly become one of the most important days of your life. So this week, I'd like to leave you with 3 questions. What are you building? Are you building a life you don't need to escape from? And what one brick can you lay today? Not tomorrow, today. Because today is the youngest you're ever going to be. Thank you so much for joining me today and spending the time with me. If you liked this episode and it spoke to your heart, I would love it if you would share it with someone who might just need to hear these words. Please follow, subscribe, and like. It really does help Beautifully Unfinished reach more people who just might need a little more hope and encouragement in this world. Before I go, I want to leave you with one thought. This brick, on its own, is not very impressive. It's just an ordinary brick. But every home you've ever admired started from just one of those bricks. So does everything meaningful in life. Don't worry about building the whole house today. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know what the finished picture looks like. Just lay your next brick. Then tomorrow lay another. One day, you're going to look back and you're going to realize that you didn't just build a house. You built a life you don't need a holiday from. Until next time, remember, we're still growing, we're still becoming, we're still building, and that's the beauty of being beautifully unfinished. So I'll see you next Thursday. I hope you have a fabulous week. Bye for now.